Welcome to Takeover, the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, Josh. They keep forgetting that part.
I'm not seeing the numbers go up, guys. I'm expecting more from you. I really did expect more from you, but I'll give you another chance.
And we do have a member missing today, but that is okay because it only takes two to take over around here.
As you guys already know, my name is Josh.
It's your boy Cam, and this is Takeover.
Yo, hey champ. Yo, we play it all or nothing. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind out the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Not that holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a facing. When I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need a couple.
All right.
The Alabama Crimson Tide had a very close win versus the Florida Gators, Josh, with a 31-29 victory. Did the Tide get a little exposed in this game?
So there's a problem with using the word exposed, Cam, and it's the fact that what is the only thing that got exposed about the Crimson Tide this year is that they're not the historic juggernaut that we've seen the last 2 years. Which really, when you're thinking about it, like I've seen this talked about on ESPN a few times, and now we're talking about it here on the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube and in the world. The problem is, this is the problem of the 1%. Alabama fans, not trying to throw shots at you, but Alabama fans are so used to success and so used to like historicness and just dominance that the moment that they have a 2-point victory over the 11th ranked team in the nation, they get all panicked and, oh my goodness, have we been exposed? Do you need me? Do you not have enough space to hide your yachts? Are you struggling to? Do you only have a 6-car garage and you have 8 cars? Oh no, how can I help you? This is the problems of the 1%. All right. The fact of the matter is, Alabama has not been exposed because in the end, I still think Alabama is the odds-on title favorite, and I don't see anybody that's particularly close. The only people that I think have a shot right now against them are 2 teams, Oregon and Georgia. But Georgia has some serious questions themselves because as of right now, they really have only played like one true test of a team, and they put up a field goal against them. Now, some of that might be the fact that Clemson's defense is really good, but the other part of it might be UGA's offense is kind of struggling. Oregon, I think they would give Alabama a fight. I really like that defense, and I think that offense is good. But Anthony Brown, still a little rough around the edges. He's still young, so I think he still needs some time. And then you look at everybody else that's sort of in the top of the AP polls right now. Oklahoma looks mortal. They can't beat Tulane by more than 5 points. You want to talk about something that would expose you. Iowa's offense is very mid, as is Penn State's. And then Clemson. There's not much else that we can really say about it that everybody else hasn't said. They do not look like Clemson. So Alabama's still the favorite, so I don't think you can say they're exposed because I feel like being exposed would be like they're not what we thought they were. They're not at the level that we thought they were. Maybe they're not a historic offense, but they're still the number 1 team in college football.
I agree with some of those points, Josh, but this is why I think Alabama actually did get exposed. The term in the boxing match is on the ropes, and I feel like Alabama was on the ropes late in this game, and it's not a way that I've seen before. And there's a couple of things I've noticed, and it starts with Bryce Young. All the Alabama quarterbacks, I think I've told you about this when we were watching the game together, have always had that blanket receiver, that guy, their go-to guy. When it was Jalen Hurts, it was Calvin Ridley. When it was Tua Tagovailoa, it was Jerry Jeudy. When it was Mac Jones, it was Devontae Smith. And on this team, I'm not really sure who's going to be Bryce Young's cover or his number 1. Is it going to be the transfer Jameson Williams? Or is it going to be John Mechie? Have those guys really stepped up into a role that you would think, oh, he's going to be the guy? As an Alabama fan, I'm not very sure about that. And I think the third quarter showed the Tide's problems, a little bit of inconsistency, because they were dominated by the Florida Gators in the second half. They got outscored 20-10. And if you look at the yards in the third quarter by Alabama's offense, it was basically non-existent. And if we're talking about getting exposed, I feel like we finally got to see a weakness. And that's not to take anything away from the Florida Gators because they did play a great game and they are a great team. But when you see a Goliath such as Alabama start to falter a bit, start to struggle, it is going to raise a couple of eyebrows. And also the offensive line, I think needs to do some work as well. And I kind of saw a couple of things in the Mercer game. You're like, Cam, Mercer? Out of all teams, Alabama beat up on Mercer. But if you were watching early in that first quarter of that Mercer game, Bryce Young gets sacked. You don't really see that a lot. Mercer, sacking Alabama's quarterback is something you don't really see. And I feel like that was shown. I think some miscommunication on the offensive line, maybe because of the noise in the swamp, that could have been a problem. But Bryce Young was pressured 6 times. He was sacked twice. He had 7 passes deflected. They're getting back there on Bryce Young. So maybe it was the crowd noise, but I think that offensive line definitely is going to need some work as well. And I believe the defense went through growing pains during this game too, which they will because this is the SEC. This is a tough conference. But the defense did go through growing pains. To me, the top 3 players on this defense are Will Anderson, DJ Dale. I may throw Jordan Battle in there, and Henry Toa, my bad. The transfer from Tennessee. And I feel like those guys definitely have to step up. I think Shannon Sharp during the game had tweeted, I haven't seen a team run on Alabama like this since Ezekiel Elliott. And I felt the exact same way because during most stretches of the game, Florida with their quarterback who could run, they would just cause more and more problems with the read option. And Alabama really didn't have an answer for it. And I raised the question right here. How are the Tide going to respond to teams who are better on offense? You look at their next 3 big opponents on the schedule. They play Southern Miss this week. They get a break. But after that, they play Ole Miss. You know how Lane Kiffin is. That team averages almost 50 points. That team is going to go up and down the field. Will Bryce Young be able to survive a shootout like this? My guess is that I think he will. But during this game, there's been times where Bama's offense will slow down. Will Bryce Young be able to respond over and over again? Will the defense step up? Those are questions we're going to learn about the Tide as the season goes. Then they have to go against Texas A&M. You know what I'm saying? In Texas A&M with the 12-man, noise is going to be a problem again. How will Bryce Young respond? And then they have to go to Arkansas again. The Arkansas looks hot right now. What's going to happen when he goes there? And then he has to go to Auburn. So we're going to learn a lot about this Tide team. And as far as getting exposed, of course they didn't get exposed to where I think there's a better team right now because I haven't really seen a better team. But I did peep some weaknesses, and I have peeped some things about this Tide team, though.
Again, do you not have enough dock space to store your yachts? Is that the problem here? There's one other thing that you said that I kind of want to touch on. Okay. You talked about the noise might have been a factor. When you really think about it, I think we can't kind of throw that away because this was the first true road game of Bryce Young's young career. Correct. And he is a sophomore. And on top of that, he's having to deal with basically an entirely brand new offense because they're trying to find who's going to replace Najee. They're trying to find who's going to replace Devonta Smith. They're trying to find who's going to replace Jalen Waddle. And they're trying to find who's going to replace Alex Leatherwood. And I'm assuming a few other starters in various different spots.
They're missing Christopher Allen, too, on the defense line,
Exactly. And they're trying to replace Trayvon Diggs in the secondary. And they've hey man, don't hate. But so they've got a lot of moving parts, which they always have. And I just think that because they have so many moving parts specifically on offense, it's going to take a little time to truly see if this is what they thought they were or not. I think it's just a little too soon to say they got exposed. Weaknesses, maybe, but they've got time to fix that. This isn't like Miami where it's like this is a dire thing that's been bothering them for years that they haven't fixed. It's like, oh no, they have to figure out who's going to step up, which Alabama always finds somebody who steps up.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they wouldn't be the favorite after this, but I definitely saw some things that would make the regular Alabama fan go like, hold on, wait a minute, we may not be used to that.
Yeah, because like I said, oh no, I only have 6 docks and 8 yachts. What can I do? Anyway, moving on, we're going to talk about a little NFL now. The Baltimore Ravens had a very impressive victory over Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, and it was led by Lamar Jackson, who had 300-something yards by himself, a couple touchdowns, a lot of big plays. So with that being said, now that they've beaten arguably the favorite of the AFC, do you think that Lamar can lead the Ravens to a Super Bowl?
I think he definitely can lead this team to a Super Bowl, but I'm not sure about the things around him. I think Lamar's talent itself is something that a lot of people didn't understand when he first got in the league. Is he more of a runner? Do we want him not at quarterback? And now he's knocking things off the list. First, it was, can he throw? He proved he can throw. Can he win? He went to the playoffs. Can he get out of the first round? He got out of the first round. Can he beat Mahomes? Checked it off. He's checked off every single thing we've thrown at him. And the bar keeps changing for Lamar Jackson. It feels like once he does something, well, he can't do this. He can't do that. He can't do this. But I think his ability to make plays and his ability to, because the whole offense really revolves around Lamar Jackson, is something that a lot of teams are going to struggle with. But I'm mostly worried about his ability to find receivers. Because I think the best target that he has right now is Mark Andrews. Other than that,
yeah, it's been that way for a couple years. Yeah.
Other than Mark Andrews, I'm not sure if I trust Hollywood Brown to get open in some of these situations. I still think he needs that core number one receiver. They had 3 running backs get hurt this year. I think Latavius Murray he's going to be a guy who's going to muscle down there and get yards as well. But I don't think he's going to be able to replace that void of those other 3 running backs that they lost. But I do like Lamar, but I'm not sure as much as he's doing, and I think honestly he's an MVP candidate just off of that game. I mean, the jump pass, everything he did, he definitely puts him in that conversation. But I'm not sure one man alone can lead a team to a Super Bowl, because besides the sport of baseball, I think football is the second all-around team sport where you need everyone to work out and come together. And I'm not sure this Ravens team, as assembled right now, could do that.
Exactly. So I want to preface this by saying, for anybody that's a Lamar Jackson fan or a fan, this win means a lot, and I think it really does increase like you were talking about. It checks off another box for Lamar. He keeps answering the critics. Because he stepped up, he made all the plays that he needed to make. There weren't as many questions about can he throw outside the numbers or whatever, and not to mention Hollywood Brown. You talked about him. He's got 12 catches for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns so far this year. That's a pretty good stat line. Not to mention Sammy Watkins, I believe, is averaging even more yards and has more catches than Hollywood. So they don't necessarily have that prototypical number one, but they've got some good targets for him finally, because it's really just been Mark Andrews and then your hope Hollywood can beat somebody down. Now, Hollywood's going to have to stay healthy, obviously. But the problem is that I see is there's still some major questions for the Ravens, which is why I would say that they're not yet towards the top tier of the contenders. I would still put the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC specifically over them. As you touched on, there's no running back depth. They only have Latavius Murray and Tyson Edwards, which is a little frightening for a team, especially when they were supposed to have J.K. Dobbins. Letting go of Mark Ingram looks bad right now. But and on top of that, their defense right now is 31st in yards given up and 29th in points given up, and they've only produced 3 sacks, and that's with a defensive line that has Calais Campbell and Odafe Owe. So they've got pass rushers, but they're not getting home, and they're not stopping anybody. And then this is the biggest thing that I want to point to. They beat the Chiefs with their offense, right? And that's the only real way you can beat the Chiefs, is being efficient and running and gunning with them. Every time they score, you answer. I don't think that answers what happens when somebody is able to stop the defense or the offense. You know what I'm saying? So when they were in the playoffs the last few years, when the Titans were able to contain Lamar, nothing else was able to happen because they couldn't stop Derrick Henry or they couldn't stop this, that, or the other. So that's why I would doubt this team now, because now that even when Lamar steps up, now the defense is suddenly towards the bottom of the league in terms of how they're doing. Now, to be fair, they've faced 2 buzzsaws in Oakland and Kansas City that have both been putting up numbers, but I feel like it's something that we have to take into consideration, because I feel like with the Bills, even when Josh Allen isn't making plays, they've got the talent on defense to be able to win a game. And Allen just has to make enough plays. But as currently instructed, it looks like Lamar has to do everything, which is a terrible way to run any kind of team. In basketball, football, baseball, you can't do it in baseball, and you definitely can't do it in football.
And you talk about the defense. The last time a quarterback of Lamar's type or Lamar's caliber that got to this stage was Cam Newton. But everyone remembers Cam Newton's MVP season. But that defense led by
defense
Luke
was
Kuechly,
crazy.
And the season Josh Norman was having.
Luke Kuechly, Josh Norman.
It was crazy.
Kawan Short.
Thomas Davis. All of those guys really made that team. And you saw that when I think they blew out Seattle in Carolina. Because I definitely think he's going to need his defense. Yeah. But until until the Ravens can figure out the problem of, you know how you said the Titans and the Bills had beat them in previous years. What are you gonna do when we tighten up the box? We throw all of our guys in there, and we tell Lamar Jackson, you gotta throw that post route. You gotta throw that back shoulder pass. Is he going to be able to do that consistently? Will he consistently be able to make throw after throw after throw when we box him in and force him to throw the ball?
Yeah.
And until that question is answered, I'm not sure Lamar Jackson can take them there.
I don't want to hate on Lamar because he seems like
he's so good.
He's such a great player, and it's I feel like I'm nitpicking here, but beating the Chiefs defense is not that you know what I'm saying? Like the Chiefs defense has been bleeding talent for a while, and they still have Tyrann Mathieu and they still have Chris Jones, but they don't have the talent that you would hope that they would have. And the numbers show it right now. They've always been mediocre. This year they're even worse. So I feel like it shows that Lamar can win a shootout, but can Lamar win a defensive battle? Can he make enough big plays by himself when they're not wide open because the secondary is, full of 7th rounders? And
you saw the resiliency. Lamar Jackson started off that game throwing a pick. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It could have went downhill from there, but he stuck it out and found a way. So I'm really interested in seeing
he's like a football Giannis, is what it seems like. He's just so transcendent that we continue to nitpick, and he's kind of building his way up there.
Yeah.
And as he continues to build, we continue to
change. That's why you keep changing the bar.
You push the bar. So if it goes the way Giannis is, give him 2 years and he'll have that ring.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, that is going to wrap up our episode today. Josh, do you have anything to say?
I'm just trying to figure out why some people are like watching this and they're not subscribed. Because I know they exist. If you've come across this channel and you've watched this video, it's typically better. We typically have Deandra right here, and Deandra brings so much stuff that we don't even see.
Yeah.
So this is arguably not even one of our best episodes.
Yeah, it's like,
and we just entertained you for like 15 minutes. Go ahead and subscribe, drop a like, give us some comments, tell us what we did right, what we did wrong, debate us in the comments, send us a take. If you send us a take, we'll respond to it. We're waiting for them.
We got time today.
We got time.
But all right, guys, that's going to end our episode. Takeover out.
Parker right on the grass, we coming in, take over everything, run it up, not that holding me back, 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face, and when I roll a paper, I like to go double, run up a check, flip a W, make it an M, I need